All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. My name is Dave Little, and I am pleased to be coming to you live from the Dave Cave with another great baseball game from History Maker Baseball. It's the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament, and tonight we will witness the 1991 Boston Red Sox visiting the 2010 Cincinnati Reds, and this is an interesting matchup. This is Game 2 of the Best of 3 series. Game 1 went to the Reds in 12 innings on a bases-loaded bloop single by Orlando Cabrera. And in Game 2, it will be do or die for the Red Sox, but they've got their main man, Roger Clemens, on the mound, facing the Reds' Johnny Cueto. Should be an interesting pitching matchup. Your hot batters for tonight, Jack Clark, who homered twice for the Red Sox, is the hot guy, and Scott Rowland for the Reds, who homered, along with Jay Bruce in the extra inning win. The Reds had jumped out to an early lead, but closer Francisco Cordero blew the save, and it took 12 innings before Cabrera was able to deliver the game winner. So the Reds lead the series 1-0, and they can close it out here at the Great American Ballpark tonight. By virtue of the die rolls, there is no cold batter for the Red Sox tonight. Ellis Burks was supposed to be cold, but the message from the clubhouse was that there would be no cold batter as the Red Sox come into the game semi-harmonious. Brandon Phillips is the cold guy for the Reds, although the Reds are harmonious, and Barry Larkin is happy. The weather tonight in Cincinnati is cold, which means the pitchers will stay fresh longer. The ballpark size will increase in all dimensions by 1/2 of a tick. So it's a small ballpark in normal dimensions. Tonight it will play as semi-small, as the ball will not carry quite so well. Also on the drama ratings, let me double check this. On the outfield drama ratings, if the lead die is black, then the fielder's fielding rating will go down 1/2 of a segment. So a gold glove fielder will become semi-gold, a semi-gold will become normal, etc. So we may see some interesting weather effects here tonight as the Reds and Red Sox go to bat. Good evening in the chat room to Captain Carl, and welcome to the ball game. Your umpires for tonight, at home plate is D. Scott Howard. He is a semi-respected umpire. The legendary Steve Tower umpires first base. Dave Gardner is your second base umpire tonight, and Al Wilson at third. That takes care of your particulars. Let's look at the starting lineups. For the Red Sox, Jody Reed leads off and plays second base. Third baseman batting second, Wade Boggs. Jack Clark, the DH and the hot hitter for Boston, is your number 3 hitter. Mike Greenwell bats cleanup and plays left field. First baseman Carlos Quintana batting 5th. Batting 6th and playing center field is Ellis Burks. Batting 7th, your right fielder, Tom Brunansky. John Marzano is batting 8th tonight and catching. Going with the backup catchers tonight since there was an extra inning ball game last night. And Luis Rivera bats 9th and plays shortstop. For the Reds, Brandon Phillips will lead off and play second base. He'll be followed by first baseman Joey Votto. And batting third is the third baseman Scott Rowland. Jay Bruce will be your right fielder tonight, and bat in the cleanup spot. Batting 5th and catching is Ryan Hannigan. Batting 6th, your left fielder Johnny Gomes. Batting 7th and DHing tonight, Lance Nix. Batting 8th, the shortstop and last night's hero Orlando Cabrera. Batting ninth, the Gold Glove center fielder Drew Stubbs. Just need to make one quick adjustment here and make sure that we have Lance Nix appropriately slotted in the designated hitter role. For those of you who have been following the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament, this is a round of 16 matchup. We've got this and one more matchup to determine the final 8. There were 32 teams that started this tournament, all of whom I have seen live in their home ballparks. One team representing each major league franchise. I got to 31 because both of the Washington Nationals and the Montreal Expos were included in the tournament. And to round it up to an even 32, I added the 2010 Reds, who are actually playing in the American League bracket. And because we're playing in the American League bracket, we're using the DH for all games in this series. And if the Reds move on, then we'll continue to use the DH all the way up until the World Series, when we'll do it the old-fashioned way and have the DH in the American League ballparks and the non-DH in the National League ballparks. So I think that covers all of the pregame introductions. Let's play ball. Jody Reed will step in to face Johnny Cueto to lead the game off for Boston. The pitch from Cueto is a 4-5-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter patient? No. That's going to be a fly out to center field. So Reed hits one out to Drew Stubbs. Stubbs makes the play for the first out of the ball game. And that will take us to the team chemistry chart. On the team chemistry chart, the Reds are fully harmonious, and the Red Sox are semi-harmonious. Red Sox got the benefit of the die roll there, as after that 12th inning loss, they were threatening to drop to the dissonant range, but on a roll of 6, they remain semi-harmonious. The roll is a 1-3. Pitching team harmony, yes indeed. Infielder makes a diving stab of a hot liner for the out, and that will be Joey Votto with a nice defensive play on the line drive to first base. And that will take us back to the standard ballgame chart as Jack Clark, the hot-hitting Red Sox DH, comes to the plate. Clark with 2 home runs in Game 1 of the series. Looks at a 2.55 from Cueto. Is the pitcher a star? He is a semi-star, and the decider die says yes, and that will be a strikeout. So a 1-2-3 inning for Johnny Cueto to start things off, and he's going to need a bunch of those as he is going mano-a-mano against Roger Clemens. The Rocket steps to the mound to face Brandon Phillips to start things off here in the bottom of the first. Beatles eternally, how are you, my friend? Good to have you on board for the ball game. The pitch from Clemens is a 3-4-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter eager? He is semi-eager, but the decider die says no, and the result is a base on balls. So that puts Brandon Phillips at first with our first base runner of the game, and brings up Joey Votto as we go once again to the team chemistry chart. The roll on the chemistry chart is 3-6. Batting team harmony, yes. The enthused batter knocks a deep drive off the outfield wall for a double. Votto got around on a fastball from Clemens and knocked it off the right center field wall. On a lead die of 3, runners advance 2 bases on any hit, single or double. So Phillips pulls up at third. Votto is at second, and the Reds are threatening here in the bottom of the first. And Scott Rowland comes to the plate. Nobody out in the top of the first, in the bottom of the first inning, so we will just play the infield at normal depth as Rowland stands in against Clemens. And on a roll of 5-5-6, is Clemens an ace? He is a semi-ace, and the decider die says no. Red Sox not feeling it with the decider die tonight. Is the batter a sad sack? No. The result is a double to right field, and that will score both runners. So just like that, the Reds jump on Roger Clemens for a 2-0 lead. Both runs will score. Roland pulls into second, and the fans here at the Great American Ballpark are excited. Here's Jay Bruce now, the cleanup hitter, with still nobody out and Scott Rowland out at second base. The pitch from Clemens is a 3-3-6. Is he an 3-3-6? Is he an ace or dynamic? He is a semi-ace, and this time the decider die says yes, and that will result in a fly out to center field. And that will take us to the team chemistry chart. Excuse me, red is the player experience chart. Clemens is a semi-icon. The batter now is Ryan Hannigan, who is a semi-prospect. So this would seem to favor the Red Sox in this matchup. And the role is a 1-3. Do we have a prospect pitcher? No, we do not. And the result is a ground out to third base. Boggs picks it up, looks rolling back to second, delivers it across the diamond for the second out of the inning. And that brings Johnny Gomes to the plate with two out, and Roland still at second base, as Gomes hopes to knock in another run against Roger Clemens. 1-4-5 is the roll. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Nothing in the batter's column, and the result of the play is a ground out to third base. And that will end the inning as Boggs makes another nice defensive play. Pitches it across to Quintana for the final out of the inning. But the Reds do their damage in the bottom of the first, scoring 2 runs off of Clemens on the RBI double by Jay Bruce. And as we head to the second inning, the Reds hold a 2-0 lead as Mike Greenwell steps in against Johnny Cueto. Hello, Dave Gardner. Welcome to the chat room. Dave Gardner pulling double duty tonight. He is here in the stands and also the second base umpire for tonight's ball game. Welcome, Dave, and enjoying your chats with Ron a whole lot this week. That's been a nice thing. I've been working at home, and I put in a good 50 hours this week, and it's nice to just log off and be able to tune right in to you and Ron as I work from home, and it's been an intense week in health IT. As you know, we've got lots of health issues and lots of needs for information. And so the health IT community has been very busy this month working on the COVID epidemic and all of the information that needs to be collected and analyzed in response to that. So love having you and Ron online at the end of the day to help me decompress. So here's Greenwell. 5-5-5 is the roll. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? He is a semi-star, and the decider die says yes. And that is a deep fly out to right field. The ball's not carrying here in the cold Great American Ballpark tonight, and Jay Bruce is able to get under that and make the catch. And with 1 out now, that will bring Carlos Quintana to the plate. Quintana against Cueto. 1-2-3 is the roll. Is the pitcher fresh and flash? He is fresh. He is a semi-flash. The decider die says no. And instead of a strikeout, we will have a ground out to shortstop as Orlando Cabrera makes the smooth pickup and delivery for out number 2. And Ellis Burks is your batter, the number 6 hitter. Righty against right-hand batter. And on a 1-5-6, nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a whiffer? He is a semi-whiffer. And the decider die says, strike 3, you are out of there. Burke swings and misses. And that ends the top of the second. Reds coming back up to the plate, still leading 2-0 after the first inning rally against Roger Clemens. Cincinnati looking to do some more damage and keep the home crowd humming here. Lance Nix Designated hitter leads off with a 1-4-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. And that will be a ground out to third base. Busy night for Wade Boggs over there tonight. And he has handled every chance flawlessly thus far. Orlando Cabrera, last night's hero, comes to the plate. And on a roll of 3-5-5, is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter a champion? No. Is the batter a whiffer? No. That's a ground out to second base. First play for Jody Reed tonight. And he also makes the pickup. And pitches that one over to first base for the second out of the inning. That brings up Drew Stubbs. Gold Glove center fielder for the Reds. 1-2-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter patient? No, indeed. Is the batter a whiffer? Oh, yeah. Stubbs is a huge whiffer. And he goes down swinging on that at bat to end the inning. Drew Stubbs was a fine center fielder. Had some power, but he could not get on base to save his life, and he was a strikeout king. And the Reds moved on from him after several years of futility. As we go to the top of the third, Tom Brunansky leading things off for Boston. And the pitch from Cueto is a 3-3-4. Is Cueto an ace or a star? The decider die says yes. And the result is a pop out to first base. And that brings backup catcher John Marzano to the plate. Got the backup catchers going tonight after the extra inning ball game last night. Marzano, 3-3-5. Is Cueto wild? No. Is the batter a sad sack? No. And the result is a single to right field. So Marzano with the first hit of the game for Boston. And he pulls in at first base for the number 9 hitter, Luis Rivera. Hello, Philip Reynolds. Good to see you there, my friend. 2-3-5 is the pitch from Cueto. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter eager? No. And that is a ground out to second base. And on a lead die of 2, that goes as a fielder's choice. So that's going to be in play. Fielder's choice. 4-6 if you're scoring at home. Marzano is forced out at second base. And Cabrera is safe at first. Excuse me, Rivera. Rivera is a semi-stoic runner, so he'll not be looking to steal. As leadoff hitter Jody Reed comes to the plate for Boston with 2 outs now in the top of the third. 4-6-6 is the roll. Is Cueto a control pitcher? He is semi-control. The decider die says yes. And the result of the play is the pitch is read and delivered for a single to left field. So that's one of those plays where it is to the disadvantage of the pitcher to be a control guy. And with the lead die of 4, runners advance 2 bases on the single. So Reed delivers the single. Rivera trucks it around to third base. Reed pulls in at first, and there will be runners at the corners with 2 outs for Wade Boggs. Semi-hero, semi-champion, looking to drive home a run off of Cueto. 2-3-3 is the roll. Is the pitcher an ace or a star? He is a semi-star. The decider die says yes, and the result is a ground out to shortstop. And that will end the inning. So Cueto runs into some trouble here in the third, but pitches his way out of it with the ground out to Cabrera to end the inning. That takes us now to the bottom of the third as the Reds return to the plate. Still leading by a score of 2-0. Top of the order looking to do some more damage against Roger Clemens. Phillips, who walks to begin the first inning, looks at a 2-3-5. Is the pitcher wild? No. Is the batter eager? He is semi-eager. And the decider die says yes, so he is eager. We need to do a whiffer check also. He is a semi-whiffer. The decider die says yes, and that's a strikeout. That could have been a single through the hole if Phillips were not a whiffer. Instead, it's a strikeout. And with one out, that brings Joey Votto to the plate. 2-4-5 is the pitch from Clemens. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is Votto a hero? He is a semi-hero, but the decider die says no. And the result of that play is a pop out to second base. Jody Reed moves under that one and makes the play. And with Scott Rowland coming to the plate, that takes us to the player experience chart. Icon batter versus semi-icon pitcher. And the roll is 2-6. Do we have an icon pitcher? The decider die says yes. And that's not good news for the Reds. The pitcher is experienced with the batter and strikes him out. And that ends the third inning. We go to the top of the fourth. It's still 2-0 Reds. Now, if you will recall at the top of the broadcast, it is a cold night here at Synergy Field at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, which means that the pitchers actually stay fresh longer. Dave Gardner, do you think this is easier or harder than Strat baseball? I think it's, well, I played Strat baseball since 1986, so I've got 30 years of Strat under my belt and then some. So Strat to me comes very easily, and so I really do think it is it's probably easier because I know the Strat charts so well, and with History Maker there's a lot of flipping around in the books, but really I'd say they're about the same in terms of ease of play. Strat is by far the king of them all when it comes to statistical accuracy. But History Maker Baseball is a fun little game. You get some quirks, you get some unexpected events. It's a very fun way to follow the team over the course of the season. If you've ever watched any of Steve Towers' Baseball America broadcasts, he'll pick his favorite pitcher. I think Fernando De La Rosa was the last one, and he'll follow Fernando De La Rosa over the course of a full season, and the hot streaks, the cold streaks, the ups and downs in the team chemistry, and a lot of fun with this baseball game. Nice fun little game. All right, top of the fourth. Cueto is still fresh as he faces Jack Clark, and the roll is a 3-6-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is this a pinch hitter? No. This is a fly out to center field. So Clark is now 0 for 2 after belting 2 home runs in the first game of the series. And that brings up Mike Greenwell. Cueto retired Greenwell in the second inning on a flyout. And here in the fourth, the pitch is a 5-6-6. Is Cueto wild? No. Does Greenwell have a good eye? He has a semi-good eye. The decider die says yes, and the result is a foul tip still at bat. Otherwise, that was a strikeout. So Greenwell just manages to defend himself against that 2-strike breaking ball, and he has another whack at it. And this time it is a 2-3-4. Are there runners on base? No. Is Greenwell a hot batter? No, he is not. Jack Clark is the hot batter tonight. So the result will be a pop out to third base. And with 2 outs now, your batter is Carlos Quintana. First baseman grounded out his first time at bat. Oops. Helps to roll all 3 of the dice. 2-2-2. Has nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a sad sack? No. That's a double to center field. So Quintana gets around on one and hits one into the gap in left center field. Johnny Gomes chases it down and fires it back in, but not before Quintana winds up at second with a double. And with 2 outs now, that will bring Ellis Burks to the plate. And that will take us to the team chemistry chart. Red Sox are semi-harmonious. Reds are fully harmonious. And on a roll of 4-4, pitching team dissonance, no. So there is a deep fly ball to center field. On a dissonant team, the outfielder would lose track of that and it would roll to the fence. But in this case, it is Drew Stubbs who makes the running catch of the deep fly ball for the third out of the inning. So good play by Drew Stubbs. He's got good range out there. And through 4 innings, the Red Sox remain scoreless. The Reds lead 2-0 and are coming to bat against Roger Clemens here in the bottom of the 4th. And again, Clemens also is still fresh for the 4th inning because of the cold weather designation. 4-5-6 is the pitch from Clemens. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is Bruce patient? No, he is neutral. And the result is a fly out to center field and another trip to the team chemistry charts. Ryan Hannigan, the second string catcher, is up to the plate. Very solid backstop, good hitter. Back in 2010, he was just getting started and was backing up the much more experienced Ramon Hernandez behind the plate for Cincinnati. 3-4 is the team chemistry roll. Do we have batting team harmony? Yes, indeed we do. The batter waits for his pitch and smacks a single to the outfield. So Hannigan strokes one into center field for a base hit. And he is aboard at first with 1 man out. And left fielder Johnny Gomes coming to the plate. Hello, Al Red Sox fan. Welcome to Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. It is the best team I've ever seen series. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. And the Reds are ahead 2-0. And looking to do some more damage against Roger Clemens. Johnny Gomes is at the plate. 1-3-6 is the roll. Is Clemens an ace? He is a semi-ace, but the decider die says no. Is Johnny Gomes a whiffer? Yes, he is. That is a strikeout. Clemens blows away another one. Hannigan holds at first. And with 2 outs, the designated hitter Lance Nix comes to the plate. Nix grounded out against Clemens in his first at bat. This time it's a 4-6-6. Is Clemens a control pitcher? Yes, he is. And that pitch is read and delivered into left field for a single. And that is a 2-base advance for the runner, Ryan Hannigan. Unless the runner is stoic, in which case he goes only to second base. So stoic runner Hannigan goes to second as Nix gets the single. And we now have men on first and second with 2 outs for the number 8 hitter Orlando Cabrera, last night's hero. Delivered the game-winning single in the top of the 12th. Cabrera now facing off against Clemens with 2 men on and 2 men out. The roll is a 4-4-6. Is Clemens a star? No. Is the batter a sad sack, utility, or patient? He is none of those. And the result of the play is a single to right field. On a lead die of 4, runners advance 2 bases. So Hannigan will score, Nix around to third, and it is a 3-0 ball game. Hannigan will score. Lance Nix holds up at second. Cabrera holds at first, and for the second straight game, Cabrera has delivered an RBI single. The fans here in Cincinnati are loving it as Clemens takes the mound with 2 out here in the bottom of the 4th, now trailing 3-0. And he pitches to Stubbs. It's a 3-4-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter eager? No. Stubbs works the walk. Okay, so Stubbs walked. Before that, Cabrera singled. Before that, Nix singled. So that's 3 in a row, and that makes Clemens a semi-struggler. Half a chatter says maybe I want blue umps. That might not be a bad idea. But yeah, I use the yellow cardstock for the umps. D. Scott Howard is your home plate umpire tonight. Steve Tower is at first. Dave Gardner is your second base umpire, and Al Wilson is at third. Ken Castro's had some umpiring duties. Yeah, the ones you have are not yellow. Yeah, I made these myself. I went to the play.com website and found a umpire template that you can make your own umpires. Now, the way these umpires are rated, you've got the respected and lenient and strict or questionable, and they're basically rated according to the on-base percentage and ERA of the umpires in any given season. And I think it's like the 5% outliers on either end get the full ratings, 5 or 10%, and then the 20% outliers get the semi ratings. So instead of rating each individual umpire, I took the whole group of 20 of them and assigned, 2 to be strict and 2 to be lenient and 4 to be semi-strict and so on. So we now have the bases loaded and 2 outs for Brandon Phillips against Roger Clemens, who is now a semi-struggler, but he is their ace. And since game 1 of this series went 12 innings and the bullpen is somewhat limited, the Red Sox are going to stick with Clemens. He's their guy, and they're going to let him try and work out of this jam. The pitch to Phillips is a 2-4-5. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a hero? He is a semi-hero, and the decider die says yes, and that is a single to left field. Runners advance 1 base on singles unless they are active, and Cabrera is a neutral runner, so that's just going to be a 1 base advance for everybody. That is a single. Nix will score. George Foster will score. Wally Post will score. Ted Kluszewski will score. Everybody else will hold up. It is now a 4-0 ball game, and that makes Clemens a full struggler until he gets somebody out. But again, they're going to go with their ace. Clemens against Votto. Votto has a chance to break the game open if he can get a hold of one here. And the pitch is a 4-5-5. Is the pitcher a flash? Yes, he is, and that is a strikeout. Down goes Votto to end the inning, but the Reds get 2 more, and it is now a 4-0 ball game. Votto disappointed himself as he heads back to the dugout, but the Reds team is fully harmonious, and they're trying to pick up Votto. And Cueto wants to keep the momentum going against Tom Brunansky to lead things off. It's now the 5th inning, and now the pitchers will become semi-fresh. Extra inning of freshness there since it is a cold night here in Cincinnati. The pitch to Brunansky is a 2-4-5. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a hero? No, he is a semi-utility. And the result is a pop out to second base. So the beat rolls on for Cueto as the catcher John Marzano comes to the plate, and we go to the player experience chart. Cueto is neutral in 2010. Marzano is a semi-prospect. And the roll is a 2-4. Do we have an icon batter? No, we do not. So he does not deliver just inside the baseline. He hits a routine ground ball to Orlando Cabrera at shortstop. And Cabrera makes the pickup and the throw to first for the second out of the inning. And that brings Luis Rivera to the plate and takes us back to the standard play charts with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. The pitch from Cueto is a 1-3-5, and that will take us to our random events chart for the first time. And on a black die of 1, that is the event mini chart, ballpark qualities. Cincinnati is a small ballpark. On a cold night, it becomes semi-small, and it is grass. And the roll is a 2-2. Is it an artificial turf ballpark? No. If it were, it would be a sharply hit ball caroming off the carpet for a single. Otherwise, it is a routine ground out to the third baseman, Roland. And that is the third out of the inning. So the Red Sox come up empty again as Cueto continues mowing them down, and we head to the bottom of the fifth with the score 4-0 in favor of Cincinnati. And since we're at the midpoint of the ball game, I'll give a quick channel update. I mentioned earlier that it has been a crazy week at work, and with apologies, I was not able to record my Journey with Jesus broadcast on Monday. What I'm going to do with those is I am going to shift those regularly to Sundays. So Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening will be the time for the My Journey with Jesus podcast. And we'll start this Sunday with the podcast picking up the series on acts of prayer with supplication, asking for stuff, and some perspectives on how we pray and how we ask God for things. So we will get back to that on Sunday. Tomorrow should be a fun day. Wife's off for the weekend, so I'm not sure if I'll get on, but if I do get on, there will be some Heartland Championship Wrestling action from the Atlantic Wrestling Federation. Tomorrow, the main event is scheduled to be the Road Warriors defending the Atlantic Tag Team Championship against the team of the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys, Tommy Rich and Tracy Smothers. So if time permitting, we'll get some wrestling on the channel on Saturday, and My Journey with Jesus will be back on Sunday. And those are your channel updates. A quick swig of Diet Mountain Dew, and we'll get back to action. Let's check in with the chat room. Does that make you semi-hurt? Let's see. I swear I hear you say Ted Kluszewski, Dave. Yeah, that was an old Chris Berman ESPN ploy that he used to use. If he would be doing highlights of a game and a bunch of people would score, he would start pulling historical names out of the past of the team. So if it was the Detroit Tigers, Charlie Gehringer scores, Ty Cobb scores, Al Kaline scores. So we pulled that one out and got some action from Wally Post and Ted Kluszewski and other famous names from the storied history of the Cincinnati Reds. And all right, standings at some point, Dave. Well, this is the tournament. So this is the round of 16. This is the next to the last series in the round of 16. What I will do, Ken, is I'll post the brackets up on the Sports Simulations and Replays site, so you can have an update. If the Reds win tonight, they will move to the round of 8, or in essence the final 4 of the AL bracket. If the Red Sox win tonight, they can force a deciding Game 3 of this series. Scott Rowland is your batter, leading off the bottom of the 5th against Roger Clemens. Clemens now semi-fresh. And on a roll of 1-3-5, we go back to the random events chart. This time the lead die is blue, and that takes us to the umpire calls chart. And with the bases empty, let's see what the umpires are up to now. The roll is 1-4. Is there a lenient umpire at home? No, D. Scott Howard is at home. He is respected. If there were a lenient umpire at home, that would be a generous strike zone, strike 3. Other umpires call ball 1. Batter still at bat. So they give the veteran Rowland the benefit of the doubt on the close pitch, and the at-bat continues, and Roger Clemens is not happy about that at all. Clemens staring daggers at D. Scott Howard as Rowland steps back in and looks at another offering. This time it is a 1-3-4. Do we have a gold catcher? I don't think so. That's Marzano, the backup, and he is neutral in terms of his fielding rating. Do we have a champion hitter? No. And the result is outfield drama. So we'll see what the outfield drama chart says on a cold night here in Cincinnati, and that does potentially affect the results of this chart. 5-6 is the roll. And because the lead die is black, that will mean a decrease in the fielding rating. Is the left fielder iron? The left fielder tonight is Mike Greenwell. Greenwell's fielding rating is neutral, but the decrease in the fielding rating caused by the cold weather makes him semi-iron, and the decider die makes him iron. So Greenwell is an iron fielder. A looping fly ball, can he get there? No, and it drops in for a single. So the cold night in Cincinnati turns a routine fly out into a base hit for Scott Rowland. And after that umpire's call, Clemens is now livid. He wanted that third strike call, and now he gives up a little blooper that Brunansky is unable to flag down. And Rowland is your base runner now at first base to lead things off here in the bottom of the fifth. So yeah, see, Dave. That Dave Garner was asking earlier how I like this ball game. That's one of those little touches that adds a lot of flavor to this game, as opposed to Strat, where okay, that would have been a 3-11, and we read the card and we moved on to the next play. So Rowland is at first, and as a result of the outfield drama, on a roll of 5-6. We go to the purple chart, which is team chemistry. And Jay Bruce is the batter. And on the team chemistry roll, the roll is 3-4. Do we have batting team harmony? Yes, we do. The batter waits for his pitch and smacks a single to the outfield. And on a lead die of 3, is the base runner stoic? Yes, Rowland is stoic, so he is only going to move up one base. So Rowland pulls in at second. Bruce holds at first. And Ryan Hannigan is your batter, and Clemens is again in trouble. Here's Ryan Hannigan, 1 for 2 on the night, facing Clemens. Nobody out, 2 men on base. And the pitch to Hannigan is a 1-2-5. Is Clemens a struggler? Not yet. Is the hitter patient? He is semi-patient, and the decider die says yes. And that is a base on balls. My goodness gracious, things are going from bad to worse for Clemens here in the bottom of the fifth, as he now walks Ryan Hannigan to load the bases, and Clemens is now a semi-struggler. So Red Sox fans out there, what do we do? Bottom of the fifth, nobody out, bases loaded. Tired bullpen for Boston after a 12-inning game last night. How long do we go with Clemens? I am inclined to leave him in there at least a pitch to Gomes. He's only a semi-struggler right now, but if he hits full struggler, we're going to have to take a serious look at whether to pull Clemens here in the fifth. Clemens wipes the sweat off his brow, reaches into his back pocket for a tube of KY jelly, and delivers a loaded pitch to Johnny Gomes, which is a 2-2-4. Is he pitching at home? No. That would be a pop out to shortstop if he were. Is the batter a slugger? He is a semi-slugger, but the decider die says no. So he is not a slugger. And instead of a double, that will be a single to right field. So Gomes takes one the other way, in the hole at first. Scott Rowland will score. On a lead die of 2, the runner, Bruce, will stop at third. So one base advance for everybody. Rowland scores. Bruce goes to third. Hannigan goes to second. Gomes holds at first. And Clemens is now a full struggler until he retires somebody. Lance Nix is your batter. He is a lefty. He is a full hero. He's also a whiffer. What do we do, guys? Do we pull Clemens now and go to the bullpen? It is now 5-0, and things are threatening to bust open. Yeah, Big Clue makes a good point. This is the lineup that got no hit by Roy Halladay in the 2010 NLDS. And they've put up 5 runs in 4+ innings now against Roger Clemens. So that's a good call by Big Clue. The man knows his baseball history. So from the chat, yay or nay, do we pull Clemens or do we leave him out there? Give you about another 30 seconds. Oh, Big Clue was at that game. Poor guy. And in about 15 seconds now, I'm going to roll the decider die. And if it comes up, Ken Castro says stay. I assume that means stay with Clemens. So Ken Castro has spoken. Clemens is still out there on the mound. He is fighting his emotions, fighting his fatigue, fighting his fastball that just doesn't have the movement on this cold night in Cincinnati that he was normally accustomed to, as Lance Nix steps in hoping to bust this game open. The roll is a 3-4-5. Do we have an iron catcher? No. Does the batter have a good eye? No. That is a strikeout. Lance Nix takes a called third strike for the first out of the inning. And the runners are forced to hold, and that gets Clemens out of the struggler status. Once you retire a hitter, you are no longer a struggler. And now to the plate comes Orlando Cabrera. Cabrera has had a nice little run here in this series. He delivered the game-winning RBI in Game 1 and an RBI single earlier in this game against Clemens. With the bases loaded and 1 out, infield is back because there's a 5-run deficit. 1-2-6. Is the pitcher fresh? He is semi-fresh, but the decider die says no. Is the batter a sad sack? No. The result of the play is a single past second base. And on a lead die of 1, that is again a 1-base advance for the runners. So the Reds playing station to station. Cabrera gets the single. Excuse me. Bruce will score. Hannigan to third. Gomes to second. Cabrera holds at first, and it is now a 6-0 ball game. Still only 1 out. Here comes Drew Stubbs. Pitches a 1-2-6. Is the pitcher fresh? He is semi-fresh, and this time the decider die says yes. And that results in a line out to first to second base. So Jody Reed makes a nice running stab of that line drive to forestall further damage at the moment, as the runners are forced to hold. And with 2 outs and the bases loaded now, leadoff hitter Brandon Phillips comes to the plate. Phillips is, however, the cold guy tonight. So we got that going for us if you're a Red Sox fan. The pitch from Clemens, 4, 5, 6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter patient? No. That's a fly out to center field to end the inning. But the Reds do more damage. Another 2 spot. And for 5 complete, it is now a 6-0 ball game. And Johnny Cueto is still rolling as Jody Reed steps to the plate to lead off the top of the 6th. And as a result of that play, we now find ourselves back on the team chemistry chart. 3-4 is the roll. Do we have batting team harmony? We have semi-harmony, but the decider die says no. So we do not get Reed waiting for his pitch. Instead, he is a little too eager and hits a ground ball to Scott Rowland at third base for the first out of the inning. That brings Wade Boggs to the plate, as Cueto continues to roll through this Red Sox lineup. Boggs looks at a 1-2-5. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter patient? He is semi-patient. The decider die says yes. That makes him patient. So we're probably looking at a base on balls here, although we also have an umpire check. Questionable or strict umpire calls strike 3. D. Scott Howard is not questionable or strict. He is respected. So indeed, he calls ball 4. And Boggs takes first base on the walk. That brings Jack Clark to the plate, the hot hitter for Boston. 2 home runs in the first game of this series. Pitch from Cueto, 4-4-4. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a scrapper? No. The result is a double to right field. The home run king hits a home run, and that is Jack Clark. So Jack Clark gets all of that one. It is down the left field line and hooking just inside the foul pole. That's a 2-run homer. So 3 home runs now in 2 games for Jack Clark, and it's now a 6-2 ball game. Things just got a little more interesting. Mike Greenwell coming to the plate now. Still just 1 out here in the top of the 6th. 2 runs home. The bases are empty. The pitch to Greenwell is a 4-5-5. Is the pitcher a flash? He is a semi-flash, but the decider die says no. Is the batter a home run king? No. That's a ground out to first base. Joey Votto takes that one himself. 3 unassisted on the putout, and that is the 2nd out of the inning as Carlos Quintana steps to the plate. 1 for 2 on the evening. Pitch to Quintana, 3-4-5. Do we have an iron catcher? Ryan Hannigan was always a good glove man, and so he is a normal fielder at this stage in his career. Does the batter have a good eye? No. That's a strikeout. Quintana looks at strike 3. And that ends the bottom of the 6th. That ends the top of the 6th. But the Red Sox do get 2. And it is now a 6-2 ball game. And we are going to go to the baseball right now chart. Let's see. Votto struck out his last at bat. And this is the 6th inning, so that makes Votto a cold batter. Clemens got a flyout to end the top of the last inning. So he did not strike out the last batter, so he is not hot. Clemens is neutral, and Votto is cold as we go to the right now chart. And the pitch is a 5, the roll is a 5-5. Timeout is called. There's a conference at the mound. Play resumes, and the batter draws a base on balls. So Votto draws the walk. Once again, Clemens is getting his dander up out there as Scott Rowland steps in. And now there is full-fledged action in the Red Sox bullpen. If Clemens gets in trouble again this inning, they're going to have to pull him because the Red Sox are showing signs of making a comeback, and it's do or die for the Red Sox here in this tournament tonight. Scott Rowland, 2-3-6 is the roll. Is the pitcher double control or dynamic? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. Scott Rowland draws a walk. Oh my goodness, Clemens is struggling with his control here in the bottom of the 6th. Walking the first 2 hitters and bringing to the plate Jay Bruce for the Reds. Big Clue asks, is there a fatigue gauge of some kind? Yeah, there's a couple of different gauges of fatigue. For the first 3 innings, the pitchers are considered fresh. Because it's a cold night here in Cincinnati, that stretches out to 4 innings. Innings 5 through 7, the pitchers are considered semi-fresh. And if the fresh rating comes up, we go to the decider die. A pitcher becomes a struggler if they allow 3 consecutive men to reach base. And if the 4th consecutive batter reaches base, they become a full struggler. Those are the only official fatigue ratings. I will also use the Stratomatic rule. If you get 5 runs in an inning, 6 runs over 2 innings, or 7 runs over 3 innings, you become a full struggler. And if that happens, that doesn't go backwards. So those are the fatigue rules as I use them. So Clemens is kind of dancing on the verge of once again becoming a semi-struggler. So if Jay Bruce gets on, that's going to be it for Clemens. If not, he can continue to struggle. 116 is the roll. Is the pitcher fresh? He is semi-fresh. The decider die says yes, and that goes as a strikeout. So yeah, that's another quirk that History Maker Baseball is made for playability over statistical accuracy. So we don't have the complex formulas in this game. Here's Ryan Hannigan. 236. Is the pitcher double control or dynamic? No. Is this a pitcher batting? No. Another base on balls. Clemens has walked the bases loaded, and I'm pulling him. Clemens is leaving the game, and he throws his glove down onto the steps of the dugout, and he is one unhappy pitcher. Roger Clemens, by the way, was born in the town of Dayton, Ohio, just up the road from Cincinnati, but he subsequently moved to Texas and grew up in Texas, but he was a native of Dayton, Ohio, along with another Hall of Famer by the name of Michael Jack Schmidt, who was born in Dayton. So that's going to be it for Clemens. Let's see what we have for bullpen. Let's see, probably the best available bullpen option at this point is Greg Harris, who did not pitch in the 12-inning marathon. So Harris will come on to replace Clemens with the bases loaded and one out. Johnny Gomes will come to the plate now. Harris, another rule in History Maker Baseball is that when a reliever comes on in the middle of an inning, the first batter he faces, he has the ace quality. So for this batter, Harris is an ace. Infield back at double play depth, looking to get out of the inning. Harris winds and delivers. It's a 3-4-5. Do we have an iron catcher? No. Does the batter have a good eye? Good Lord, no. This is Johnny Gomes. He swings at everything. That's a strikeout. So Gomes strikes out with the bases loaded. And the Reds hope that doesn't come back to bite them later in the ballgame, as the runners are forced to hold. And your two-out batter now is Lance Nix. And that takes us to the Baseball Right Now chart. Harris is now considered a hot pitcher because he struck out the last man he faced. Nix struck out his last time at bat, so he is a cold batter. So everything would seem to favor the Red Sox on this roll. And on a 2-6, do we have a hot pitcher? Yes, we do. He overpowers the batter with his best pitch, and that goes as a strikeout. So Harris saves the day for the Red Sox after Clemens loads the bases, getting 2 consecutive strikeouts to get Boston out of the inning without any further damage. It's still a 6-2 ball game as the Red Sox come up here in the top of the 7th, but that could have been a lot worse for Boston. Johnny Cueto out now for his 7th inning of work. Still considered semi-fresh because of the extra endurance afforded by the cold weather reading. 2-4-6 is the pitch. Is Cueto control? He is semi-control, but the decider die says no. Is Burks eager or a sad sack? No. The result is a base on balls. Not what you want to do when you're pitching with a 4-run lead. When you're pitching with a lead, you need to get out there and throw strikes. Here's Tom Bernatsky. Bruno, 2-5-6. Is the pitcher a struggler? No. Is the batter a champion or patient? No. That takes us to the infield drama chart. First trip to the infield drama chart here tonight. What is going to happen? Ooh, a 6-6. Is the first baseman gold? That's Joey Votto. He is a neutral fielder, so he is not able to make a sure-handed play for an easy ground out. Instead, it is a bungled play. Batter is safe at first on the error. Brunansky is on the error, and the Red Sox have something going here in the top of the 7th. The normally sure-handed Joey Votto kicks that one. Oops. And there are now men at first and second for John Marzano. Marzano against Cueto. 4-5-6. Nothing on the pitcher's chart. Is the batter patient? No. And that is a fly out to center field. So Marzano not able to capitalize. As Drew Stubbs runs under that one, makes the catch, and the runners hold. That takes us to the team chemistry chart. As Luis Rivera comes to the plate. Rivera is a whiffer. He is not a cold batter. He is not utility or a struggler. So it's probably not worth pinch hitting for him at this juncture. The only real good bat that the Red Sox have coming off the bench is Phil Plantier. I don't know. Maybe this would be a good time to let Plantier come into the game and swing for the fences, but it's only the 7th, and there is more baseball to be played yet tonight, so maybe this isn't the best situation to waste your one and only quality pinch hitter against Rivera. So on the team chemistry chart, the roll is a 4-6. Do we have pitching team dissonance? No. So we do not have a base on balls. Instead, we have another trip to the infield drama chart. The Reds didn't get any favors off of this chart the last time around. Let's see what's going to happen now. 3-5 is the roll. Is the third baseman iron? That's Scott Rowland. He should not be iron. No, he is a normal fielder. So he is able to make the play for the routine ground out. And on a lead die of 3, that's going to go as a fielder's choice. Rowland is not able to turn that one over for the double play, but we'll score that one 5-4 and get the run out at second base. So in play, fielder's choice, 5-4. Burks is safe at third. Brunansky is forced out at second. Rivera is on at first, and there are now 2 outs and runners on the corners for the leadoff batter, Jody Reed. Reed 1 for 3 tonight. As Cueto is attempting to get through inning number 7 here with the 4-run lead intact. 2 outs, runners at the corners for Joey Reed. 1-3-4. Do we have a gold catcher? No. Do we have a champion hitter? No. Outfield drama. Here we go again. Lots of drama tonight. And with the cold weather, if the black die is the lead die, then we'll see even more struggles in the outfield. 5-5 is the roll. Is the right fielder iron? The right fielder is Jay Bruce, and he's a gold glover. Batter rips the drive to right field and a base hit. Otherwise, the drive in the gap is handled easily for a fly out. So a running catch by the gold glover Jay Bruce ends the inning for the Reds. Nice round of applause for Jay Bruce getting over in front of that one and saving at least 1 run, possibly 2 runs on the nice running catch by Jay Bruce. Put a star by that one in your scorebook. As Cueto gives Jay Bruce the elbow bump. There's no high fives in the middle of the quarantine. And that will take us over to our team chemistry chart for the beginning of the next inning. Okay, Greg Harris came on in the 6th, I believe. Harris has pitched 2/3 of an inning. So he will be semi-fresh for this inning. As Orlando Cabrera steps in to lead things off on the team chemistry chart. 3-5 is the roll. Do we have pitching team dissonance? No. So we do not have an inattentive infielder. What we have is a ground out to shortstop. Rivera makes the play. That will bring Drew Stubbs to the plate. With 1 out and nobody on. The pitch to Stubbs is a 1-2-4. Is Harris a control pitcher? He is semi-control. The decider die says yes, and the result is a ground out to shortstop. 2 men out now for Brandon Phillips. Phillips stands in against Greg Harris. 1-1-6. Is the pitcher fresh? He is semi-fresh. The decider die says he's fresh, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So Phillips goes down, and we are through 7 complete, with the score still Cincinnati 6 and Boston 2. And I forgot to sing the dang national, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I always get ahead of myself. So, Take Me Out to the Ball Game, yada, yada, yada. It is the 8th inning now, so Cueto is no longer fresh. He's got the 4-run lead, so we're going to see if we can ride him another inning. But if he shows any signs of getting in trouble, we'll go to the bullpen. Wade Boggs leading off against Cueto. Cueto's going to earn his paycheck here in the 8th. He's facing 2, 3, and 4. The pitch to Boggs is a 2-4-6. Is Cueto control? He is a semi-control. The decider die says no. Is the batter eager or a sad sack? No. And Wade Boggs draws the leadoff walk. Oh, decisions. Here's Jack Clark. He's the hot batter. He homered his last time up. Cueto is no longer fresh. It's time to pull the trigger and go to the bullpen. Let's see what the Reds have available in their bullpen. As far as bullpen management goes, I use these Stratomatic tournament sheets, and I use Stratomatic tournament rules for bullpen management. Stratomatic rules are relief pitchers cannot pitch in 4 consecutive games. They cannot pitch more than 4 innings over a 4-game stretch. They may not pitch for more than 4 innings in a game. So you can see in the last game, everybody except Nick Massett pitched. And Nick Massett hasn't pitched since day 2 of the tournament. So we're here in day 6, and Massett can go as many as 4 innings and be fresh. And he's a good setup guy this year. Former member of the Red Sox, in fact. So Nick Massett is going to come on to replace Johnny Cueto, as Cueto leaves to a nice round of applause. And Massett comes in. He is a semi-star and a full flash. And he will have the ace quality for this at bat against Jack Clark. So Cueto comes out, 7+ innings, 2 runs, and responsible for the base runner at first. And Nick Massett comes into the ball game here in the top of the 8th. And the Reds may just decide to let Massett finish out the ball game if he can keep this 4-run lead. Here's Jack Clark. 3-4-5 is the roll. Iron catcher, no. Good eye, no. The result is a strikeout. So after the home run, his last at-bat, Jack Clark goes down swinging for the first out of the inning. Boggs holds up, and we go now to the baseball right now chart. Greenwell in his last at bat grounded out, so he is neither hot nor cold. Massett struck out the last batter he faced, so he is a hot pitcher. And on a roll of 1-5, do we have a cold batter? No. So he will not watch the third strike go by. Otherwise, he pounces on the pitch for a single through shortstop. And let's see, on a lead die of 1, that is a 1-base advance for the runner. So Boggs pulls in at second. And here come the Boston Red Sox. Carlos Quintana is the batter against Nick Massett, with 2 men on and only 1 out. Very similar to the first game of the series, where the Reds jumped out to the big lead and Boston battled back and pushed it to extra innings before the Reds won it in the 12th. Here's Quintana. 1-5-5. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a home run king? No. The result is a fly out to center field. Drew Stubbs runs under that one at the base of the warning track. And that brings Ellis Burks to the plate with 2 outs now and still two men on base. Massett winds and delivers. 2-4-6. Is Massett a control pitcher? No. Is Burks eager or a sad sack? No. Another base on balls. Now, Tom Brunansky is at the plate carrying the tying run. Massett is still fresh. And he is pretty much the best thing the Reds have available, unless they want to go to Arthur Rhodes, the lefty. But they're going to stick with Massett. He's still their best option at this point in the game. And Sam Pearson is in the ballpark. Hello, Sam. Any managers tagged with a technical foul? My good buddy Sam is an owner in Midwest Basketball League, and a few weeks ago we had the Midwest Basketball League All-Star Game using Stratomatic basketball. And I'll be darned if Sam Pearson, coaching the Eastern All-Stars, didn't get teed up not twice but 3 times in the course of that ball game. He got thrown out after the first 2 technicals, but put on his Obi-Wan Kenobi disguise and coaching as Obi Sam picked up a 3rd technical foul. And ID Jester, how are you, my friend? Good to see you here in the chat room as well. Good crowd here tonight at the ballpark. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. This is a big pitch to Tom Brunansky. 2 out, bases loaded, top of the 8th. Brunansky against Nick Massett. And the roll is a 5-6-6. Is the pitcher wild? No. Does the batter have a good eye? No. And that is a strikeout to end the inning. Nick Massett digs deep. The former Red Sox hurler, traded to Cincinnati, digs deep and blows away Tom Brunansky for the 3rd out of the inning. And the fans here at Great American Ballpark breathe a collective sigh of relief. At the end of 7.5 innings, it is still 6-2 in favor of Cincinnati. Greg Harris has pitched an inning and 2/3. He is now no longer fresh, and we're going to go to the bullpen. Let's see what the Red Sox have available. They have Tony Fawcett, who is the only other pitcher who did not appear in the 12-inning game in the previous contest. And since Joey Votto is leading things off, it will be Fawcett into the game to pitch the bottom of the 8th here for Boston. So Harris comes out, an inning and 2/3 of solid relief work. And Tony Fawcett will come in to pitch the bottom of the 8th. He'll be facing Votto, Rowland, and Bruce, lefty, righty, lefty. So this is the right man in the right position for the Red Sox. Cincinnati at bat for what they hope will be the final time, holding on to that 4-run lead. The pitch to Votto, 1-2-6. Is the pitcher fresh? Yes, he is. That's a line out to second base. And Scott Rowland is now your batter. Rolling 2 for 3 with a walk. Home run last night. Hot guy for the Reds. 1-6-6 is the roll. Is the pitcher a workman? No. Is the batter a whiffer? He is a semi-whiffer, but the decider die says no. And the result of that play is a ground out to third base. Wade Boggs, another fine play out there at third for the second out of the inning. And we go now to the player experience chart as Jay Bruce comes to the plate. Bruce 1 for 4 with a single. 2-3 is the roll. Do we have a prospect pitcher? Tony Foss is a semi-prospect, but the decider die says no. So he will not suffer a momentary lapse in focus. Instead, he induces a ground out to second base. Jody Reed makes the pickup and the throw to end the inning. So here we are. We go to the ninth. The score is still Cincinnati 6 and Boston 2 as the Red Sox come to the plate, needing 4 to tie and 5 to take the lead. Let's check the defense. I don't think we have any stoic fielders out there. No, we don't have anybody stoic. So we don't need any defensive replacements at this point in the game. Iron. We do have a gold glove outfielder in Chris Dickerson, who is actually semi-gold. So do we pull the trigger and bring Chris Dickerson in? In a real game, they probably would, because Johnny Gomes, although he is not rated in his fielding in History Maker Baseball, in real life was a notoriously bad fielder. So in real life, Dickerson would definitely come in to replace Gomes. So we'll go ahead and do that. Johnny Gomes comes out of the game to be replaced by the semi-gold outfielder Chris Dickerson. And that gives the Reds outstanding outfield defense. The center fielder Drew Stubbs is full gold. Jay Bruce is full gold. And Dickerson in left is semi-gold. So Nick Massett has a good outfield set up, and he just needs to get 3 outs before the Red Sox get 4 runs, and that will be the end of this ball game. John Marzano to lead off, semi-hero. Marzano looks at a 5.55. Is Massett an ace or a star? He is a semi-star, and the decider die says yes, and that is a deep fly ball to right field, but Bruce once again moves under and makes the catch for the first out of the ninth. Luis Rivera. We almost pinch hit for him in the 7th. And what the heck, let's go ahead and pull the trigger here in the 9th and bring out Phil Plantier. He of the ubiquitous baseball card, so says Big Clue, who drew one too many of Plantier's cards from wax packs back in the day. Rivera is out, Plantier is your batter. Phil Plantier. Where are you at? There he is. Number 29 in your scorebook. Number 1 in your hearts. Phil Plantier. All right, Plantier steps in to face Massett. Nobody on, 1 out. Top of the 9th. Nick Massett trying to get the final 2 outs for the Reds. 4, 5, 6 is the roll. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the hitter patient? He is semi-patient, and the decider die says yes, and Phil Plantier draws the walk. Nervous action starts in the Reds' bullpen as Jody Reed comes to the plate. 1-2-4. Is Massett a control pitcher? No. Is the batter eager? No. That's another walk. Jody Reed draws the walk. And the suspense grows here at the Great American Ballpark as Wade Boggs comes to the plate. And if Boggs gets on base, that would bring Jack Clark to the plate with the tying run. Oh, the suspense is growing here in Great American Ballpark. What will the Reds do? Let's see what the bullpen looks like. The Reds have a couple of lefties in the bullpen. Bill Bray pitched to one batter in the last game. He is a full flash and a semi-control, and if we bring him now, he'll get the ace quality as well. So Bill Bray is going to come in and face Wade Boggs. As Nick Massett heads to the dugout with a little bit of frustration. He was hoping to close this game out, but the Red Sox are mounting a threat, and the lefty Bray has come on to face the left-handed batting Wade Boggs. Here's the pitch from Bray. 3-4-6. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter eager? No. Another base on balls. Oh my goodness gracious. After all of this, we now have Jack Clark coming to the plate. A home run king, a hot batter, has already homered here tonight, and he is the tying run. Whoo-wee! And the Reds need some relief. The Reds closer is Francisco Cordero, who pitched one inning in the last game and gave up 3 runs and blew the save. But he is their big gun, and you got to go to your big gun in your big game situations. So this is your ball game. Jack Clark stepping in against Francisco Cordero. For the second straight night, Bill Bray comes in, pitches to one hitter, and fails to retire that one hitter. And now it is Francisco Cordero coming on to either save this game or blow this save or do something. All right, suspense here at Synergy at Great American Ballpark. Jack Clark standing in against Francisco Cordero. The pitch is a 2-3-4. Are there runners on base? Yes, this is going to be plate drama. Plate drama is the role. So the umpires may come into play in this situation. D. Scott Howard is your home plate umpire tonight. He is a semi-respected umpire. The roll is 5-5. Do we have a control pitcher? No. Otherwise, pitch gets away wide of the plate for a wild pitch. Oh my goodness. Francisco Cordero uncorks a wild one, and Phil Plantier will score. Jody Reed goes to third. Wade Boggs goes to second. Those runs really don't matter, as it's Jack Clark that we need to worry about here, but the double play is no longer in effect. The wild pitch has been thrown. The infield is back. The outfield is deep. And let's see, that does that take us to another chart? No, we're back on the standard play chart. 2-3-6. Is the pitcher a double control or dynamic? No. Is it a pitcher batting? No. Base on balls. Oh my goodness. You had to think that Cordero was pitching around Jack Clark in that situation. But now the bases are loaded, and it is Mike Greenwell at the plate, and he carries the go-ahead run. Still bases loaded, still one out. Francisco Cordero trying to pitch out of trouble. 1-5-5. Nothing in the pitcher's column. Is the batter a home run king? No. The result is a fly out to center field. Okay, now what do we do with the base runners? Jody Reed is your runner at third. He is a neutral runner. And I don't know if there is a rule for a fly out. So I'm just going to go with my gut. And my gut tells me that the ball was hit to center field. Reed should score. And we'll call that a sacrifice fly. Reed's run doesn't matter. And in the interest of what my intuitions would tell me would be the baseball purism, Reed would tag up and score. Stubbs would not risk a throw. Instead, he would throw the ball into the infield and hold Wade Boggs at second base. So we'll call that an out. We'll call that a sacrifice fly to center field. Jody Reed will score. Wade Boggs will hold. Jack Clark will hold. Now there are two outs. Jack Clark at first represents the tying run if they can get him around. He is a stoic runner. So let's see about a pinch runner. Do we have any active runners? Steve Lyons is a semi-active runner. So we are going to run Steve Lyons in place of Jack Clark. Pinch runner, and the pinch runner will be Steve Lyons. So Lyons is now on first base, and he carries the tying run. As the batter is Carlos Quintana. So Clark is out. Lyons is the pinch runner. And Carlos Quintana represents the final hope for the Red Sox as he faces Francisco Cordero. 2 men on, 2 men out. Cordero winds and delivers. 1-1-5. Is the pitcher fresh? This is his first inning of work, so he is fresh. And that is a pop fly to the infielder of choice, which will be Brandon Phillips. Phillips backing and calling. He makes the catch. And the Reds sneak a win by the hair of their chinny chin chin. Whoops. As that is a pop fly to Brandon Phillips at second. Phillips squeezes it, and there was much rejoicing at the Great American Ballpark as the Reds slide out of here with a 6-4 victory in just a barn burner of a ball game and high drama there. What would Clinton Parks call this? Cardiac baseball here in Cincinnati on a Friday night. Your final score is the Reds 6, the Red Sox 4. And the Reds win the series here in the round of 16, and they move to the final 8 in the best team I've ever seen tournament. Let's take a look at some statistics. We will start with the Red Sox batting. The Red Sox were held to 5 hits and scored 4 runs by the combination of Cueto and 3 relievers. The big hit for the Red Sox was the home run by Jack Clark. Your batting statistics for the Reds in just a moment. 2 hits for Scott Rowland and 2 RBIs. He would be your hot batter of the game once again. Orlando Cabrera also with 2 hits and 2 RBIs. The other RBIs went to Gomes and to Phillips as the Reds delivered 10 hits. And let's take a look at the pitching. Cueto was magnificent tonight. Seven innings pitched. Gave up the 2 earned runs on the homer by Jack Clark. But he will qualify for your victory. Massett was strong in the 8th but struggled in the 9th. And Francisco Cordero came in, and it wasn't easy, but he recorded the save. The pitching lines for the Red Sox, it was a struggle for Clemens. He fought his control. Went 5 1/3 innings, gave up 6 runs, and suffers the defeat. As Greg Harris came on for a very solid inning and 2/3, and Tony Fossis did a good job in the 8th. So that is your ball game. Your final score once again, Cincinnati 6 and Boston 4. Thanks to everybody who came out tonight. Ken Castro, ID Jester, Sam Pearson, Big Clue, happy to see your Reds win, I am sure. Captain Carl. And Captain Carl says 1967 History Maker Baseball is back onto his tabletop tomorrow. I believe Philip Reynolds stopped in earlier tonight. Dave Garner was here for a bit. Appa Chatter. And who else was here right at the beginning of the ball game? Beatles Eternally. made a cameo. Always good to see my man Beatles eternally. All right, thank you everybody for coming out tonight for the Best Team I've Ever Seen tournament featuring History Maker Baseball here on the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network. Thanks again, everybody. That's our stream, and